Very good afternoon to you on this Boxing Day. We've got the very latest from here at home and around the world from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Deshan Gonal for the Newsfirst team, but before we go into the stories, let's first take a look at the headlines. "14 years on from the tsunami. Shooting in Grand Pass claims the life of one and injures 4 more. Police opened fire at a van that did not heed to orders in Tangol. 14 wickets fall in day 1 of Christchurch Test. We set aside 14 silent seconds to remember those who lost their lives in the tsunami disaster from 14 years ago. 250,000 people from 14 countries, including ours, were affected by the tragedy. Millions more lost their homes and their livelihoods in the process.
The 26th of December 2004. The coast of Sumatra in Indonesia, which was celebrating the end of Christmas and the approach of a new year, was turned on its head. The sea, which was rest, crashed into the lands due to an earthquake, recording 9 on the Richter scale at 6:58 AM that day. Sri Lanka, India, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, the Maldives, Burma and Somalia all felt the wave's force. While 38,000 lost their lives in our own country, another 50,000 remained missing, making this the biggest tragedy in our history. Houses, businesses, boats and other means of livelihoods were swept up by the tsunami wave. The ocean, which is often the provider for the fishermen folk, on this occasion took away everything they had. Bodies were buried in holes dug with backhoes. But the power of the people stood taller than the height and the power of the wave that day, a day on which they lost everything. The people came together, putting aside differences, to help get those affected back to their feet and to give them strength.
Moving on from that solemn news, we now move on to some local news. 1 woman died and 4 others were admitted to the Horana hospital with serious injuries in an accident that occurred at the 33.6L post in Dodangoda on the Southern Expressway early this morning. The accident had occurred when a van travelling to Matra had run into a pole at the 33.6L post. A mother, father and 3 children of the same family were in the vehicle when the accident occurred. The 48-year-old mother died in the accident. According to the police, one of the children, a 14-year-old girl, has been admitted to the Colombo General Hospital for further treatment. The police further stated that the driver falling asleep had led to the accident. Now in more tragic news, one individual drowned and died in Venapur today. The police said that a group of 5 had gone to bathe in the sea in Kammala, Venapur, and was caught in a strong current. 3 of those individuals were rescued by the residents, while one still remains missing, and another individual succumbed to his injuries after being hospitalized. The deceased was a 38-year-old resident of Pupuressa in Galha. Search operations are underway to locate the missing person. He is a 28-year-old resident of Dambathanna in Haputale. They met with this tragedy after attending a function in Madampe. In more local news now, one individual was killed and another 4 injured in a shooting that took place near Henamulla housing complex in Grand Pass. Police spokesperson Espiruwan Gunasekara stated that this shooting was orchestrated by an organized criminal named Blumandal Sanka. The injured have been admitted to the general hospital. Officials stated that one of the 4 are in serious condition. He further added that the injured individuals will also be subject to small operations. Police this morning shot at a van that did not follow orders to stop in Kudavalla in Tangol. The police media division stated that the suspects had attempted to drive the van off when being asked to stop. A police officer in a road blockade had then shot at the van, but the van had tried to continue on its journey. The Tangol police have begun investigations to uncover the identity of the van owner. Now in more local news, residents of the area are terribly inconvenienced as the authorities have failed to repair the Galgamuwa Katugampula road in about 40 years. The Galgamuwa Katugampula road is about 20 kilometers in length. On the road, the 8-kilometer sector from Katugampula to Madinnoruwa has seen it become completely unusable. While a bus had also run this route close to 50 years ago, transportation has today become a serious issue. This is also the main road to arrive at the Megalava and Galgamuwa towns. Welcome back to the news. In your political news now, the 15th commemoration of Attorney-at-Law Chandra De Silva, the former mayor of Kotte, was held at his statue in front of the Kotte Municipal Council. Chandra De Silva's friends and family attended the commemoration event. Maitri and Mahinda will join hands to form a broad alliance. We handed over power after thinking about the country. We intend to contest a future election as a broader alliance. The UNP speaks of a 5-star democracy. If there is such a thing, we challenge them to come forward for a parliamentary election. On this historic day, let's now take a look at some of the celebrations or the commemorations that took place around the island with regard to the anniversary of the tsunami disaster.
A special train consisting an engine that was in operation on the 26th of December 2004 was prepared to travel to Mathura today. This number 50 train had to face that unfortunate event. It is of paramount importance to the Department of Railways. None of the railway employees would ever forget that incident, and that is why we remember it today. The person who died also wore my badge. His name was Janaka Fernando. Nobody in Sri Lanka knew about a tsunami, so they were in the engine. The steel engine was pushed aside by the enormous waves. The train carrying all these memories left Maradana at 6:30 am and headed to Mathura. Another event was held in Kurunduwatta in Akmimana, where up to 1,200 victims were buried. The event was organized by the Akmimana Pradeshiya Sabha. The Kandy District Secretariat marked 2 minutes silence to remember those who lost their lives on the day of the tsunami. The people of Hatton also marked 2 minutes of silence in the town centre to remember those who lost their lives in the tsunami.
Now in more news in the cricket arena, at the end of the first day of the third test between India and Australia, India were 215 for the loss of 2 wickets. India won the toss and elected to bat first at the match being played in Melbourne. Indian opener M. Agarwal scored 76, while Pujara scored an unbeaten 68. Indian skipper Virat Kohli was unbeaten at 47 during stumps of the first day. PJ Cummins bagged 2 wickets for the Australians. Incidentally, 7-year-old Archie Skiller co-captained the Australian side. Well, that's a wrap of the news for today. To stay informed, please join us again on our Live at 55 bulletins at 55 at the turn of every hour. Also, you can check out our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I am Deshan Gonavalu. Good day.